I welcome you all to Pathfinder IS Club, and I welcome our today's speaker, that is Sarang Professor. Let me formally introduce him to you. Sarang has done his BTech in Production Engineering from College of Engineering, Pune. In 2016, he has secured rank 14 in CAPF, and in the same year, he has cleared UPSC CSE. He has he's allotted the service of Indian Information Services, and currently is working as assistant director in DD News. He handles newsroom there and is involved in editorial and managerial decisions in DD News. His hobbies include trekking and cycling, and he also likes to read fiction. Apart from this, Sarang was also state champion and national player for kayaking and rowing. He has represented his college, that is College of Engineering Boat Club, in East Asian rowing competition at Philippines. With this brief introduction, I would like to invite Sarang sir and talk to all of us on this particular exam of CAPF. Sarang sir, please.
Thank you, Sachin, for such a wonderful introduction. Good morning to all of you who have joined and who could not join. They can watch the video later also. So today we are going to talk about how we all can prepare better for CAPF, that is Central Armed Police Forces examination. So first, let us quickly go through what is exactly CAPF and what the exam is all about. Can we have the PPT, please?
I'm sharing in a minute.
So CAPF exam, earlier it used to happen that UPSC used to combine the exam with the civil services exam, but later due to some issues, they have segregated the exams into two different exams. So let us start with it. Next slide. So basically CAPF comprises of 5 services, that is BSF, Border Security Force, CRPF, CISF, ITBP, SSB. You should, I will talk in detail about these forces when I talk about the interview part. Next. So we know the exam pattern. The exam is, this is a very bullseye exam. So in one day you can score everything that you have to score and then secure your good rank in this exam. So this is a very simple exam in the sense that it has only one day with the selection process, not like UPSC that you have first prelims, then go to mains for 6 days, and then you go to interview, then you get the result. So it is not a year-long exam. It's just a one-day written exam, and later on the stage 2 and stage 3 are not very exhaustive also. So as we all know, first paper is of general studies. It includes GS paper of what we have in UPSC, and in addition to that, it also has a CSAT component. And paper 2 we have a general studies, as in that check your ability to articulate things in a better manner, and how much you have comprehended. So these things matter here. The communication skills matter here in the second paper. Then after that you have a physical test, then you have an interview. We will come to these parts later. So UPSC has given few guidelines for this syllabus of the first paper. That is general mental ability. That means you have CSAT component is included in this. Then you have general sciences, current affairs, polity, economy, history, geography. These all are like what you have studied in your UPSC civil services examination. There might be few people who are exclusively thinking of giving CAPF exam, but there are many people who do dual things, like they attempt for civil services also, and then they attempt for this CAPF also. So combining these two, that I will also talk about how to combine these two preparation for these two exams. Next. I will not go into details of this syllabus, that what exactly it is in paper 2. First of all, it is about writing. I will talk in detail about essay writing here, and the comprehension, precise writing, and other things in this paper later also, when I talk about the this paper. First, I will move on to the paper 1, that is the objective paper that is being talked about. Can we have my screen?
Yeah, which one you want to have?
My own screen.
Yeah, sure. 1 second.
Okay, thank you. So now I'm going to talk about what should be the book list for this CAPF exam. I have also shared the book list with Sachin sir, so he will share with you guys later. So first thing is the book list for a civil services examination and CAPF examination is almost similar. There are few changes that we have to take into consideration. So this CAPF exam objective paper is very traditional paper. They do not involve a lot of tricks in this. Whatever is in the book, they try to imitate that only in their questions. So you need not worry about their the tricks that UPSC uses in its own questions, that in case of options, in case of tricky questions, these tricks you won't find here in CAPF exam. It's pretty straightforward. So if you thoroughly prepare this book list, I think you will be able to score more than 150 marks very easily without any issues. And remember, the other thing is this will help you in your civil services preparation also. So you have to combine both. So the first thing is history. Let us talk about history. History, we have, for ancient history, you have to go for 4 types of books. You may not be able to have a time for all these books, uh, to read all these books, but you have to prioritize this, because ancient history culture, it is the most uh, exhaustive part of the preparation. It takes a lot of time, but if you do it very well, then it prepares a foundation for your entire GS preparation, uh, whether in mains or whether in prelims. So you have to focus on this part. The book list is very simple. You have to focus on NCRTs. The first NCRT is 6th to 8th standard NCRTs of new NCRTs of CBSE. So these NCRTs are very simple, lucid, and you have to focus on them. While reading this NCRT, what you can do is, most of the part is not relevant for the prelims. So what you can do is, you can make a separate note where you can write in one-liners. You can make your one-liners and write what all things are there. Suppose one-liner could be Banjara. What is Banjara community? So you can write they were the traders who used to who used to transfer goods from one princely state to another princely states, or from one kingdom to another kingdom using their caravans. So you have to write this in one-liners. What is Banjara? Then what is Veshti? What is suppose that there are temples in Vijayanagar Empire. So what all temples are there? And in one line, what is their importance? So this Lalit I think Lotus Temple is there in Vijayanagar, Hampi. So you have to understand this. And when you are doing this, also try to go on the Wikipedia page or on the particular that World Heritage Site page. Suppose we are talking about Hampi. So let us go on Hampi's Wikipedia page or the World Heritage Site page, and let us understand what all things are there. So what additional information you can get from this is Hampi is Hampi is on the banks of Tungabhadra River. So this question has been asked in UPSC Civil Services exam, and it is not possible that everything can be included in the books. So this is about a general knowledge. So when we are talking about, when UPSC is talking about we need a well-read people, then this is what UPSC means. So These Tunga, it is based on Tungabhadra. This is not written anywhere, but you should know it that Hampi is based on Tungabhadra. So the other question they ask is Pandharpur is on the banks of which river? So you need Chandrabhaga. You need to know this, and then the additional information is where the Tungabhadra is a tributary of which river? So it is a tributary of Krishna. So you should know these things. You should go a bit extra. That will help you in solving the objective questions. So the next is, even if you do like these new NCRTs from 6 to 8 standard, I would strongly suggest you to go also for R.S. Sharma. This is old NCRT of ancient history. And also, when you need not read these NCRTs again and again. What you do is you jot down some points which are only related to prelims, so that it helps you in revision, multiple times of revision, and you do not feel a burden of history. More like for any prelims question paper, you will hardly face 20 questions from. This is the maximum limit. 20 questions from history. This is combining ancient plus modern plus medieval. So, but what happens is, because of the huge load of books, you end up spending 40% of the time in this preparation only, history preparation. So what you do is, you can do a bargain. You can do whatever preparation is there, you can do it very early in your preparation phase, so that you take down the notes, and when you are revising it, it will take hardly like 10% of your whole preparation time. So this will be very helpful for you. The third book is the Fine Arts NCRT. This is also very important. And again, take down the important points. Don't read these NCRTs again and again. You read it once. Second time when you are reading, take down the points and then read your points. Tamil Nadu board NCRT is also very important. So you can go for this. And after you read all these things, you will find that Nitin Singhania's book is very like it's a revision kind of a thing. Only few chapters are added here and there, Jainism, Buddhism. But after thoroughly preparing this, Nitin Singhania's book is very simple to read, and you can use it as a revision book also. So these are 4 to 5 books for ancient and culture. And then let us quickly move on to modern history. Why I am skipping medieval India is because those who are preparing for civil services mains, they mostly do not face a lot of questions from medieval history. So this depends on you guys, how much time you have in your hand and what kind of preparation you are doing. So medieval India, you can go for NCRT of medieval India. That is more than enough. Then you can shift to modern history. Modern history mein, the only option, the best option that we have is spectrum, and thoroughly prepare the spectrum. Here I would like to emphasize one point, that while reading spectrum book, I have seen a lot of aspirants, they keep on reading it again and again. They keep on underlining things, keep on reading it again and again. This is not necessary. See, when you do that, what happens is, you read it, you understand it, but later when you finish the whole book, you think, yeah, I am not able to recollect anything. So when you go for exam, you feel I'm not able to remember anything, recollect anything. So the best preparation for this part could be, you read it once, read it twice, underline whatever you want to do. Then whenever you start a new topic, go to the index of that topic, and based on index only, try to remember what all the things are there. And then only you can understand okay, suppose let us take the example of, there is a chapter which chapter in the last pages, that 1939 to 1939 to till the independence. So that chapter has a sequence of events. The first is the August offer, then there is a Cripps mission, then Shimla, then cabinet mission. So you have to okay, what happened in August offer? Why August offer was not accepted? What was the points there? Then move to Cripps mission, then move to Shimla, then move to this cabinet mission. So what were the points? that were put forth by the missions, what points Congress was telling, we want these points and not included these, then what Muslim League was demanding, then what happened in the end, how was the Mountbatten plan. So this sequence, so when you are revising, you just close your eyes and try to remember the important points in them. Then only you can think, you can be confident enough that okay, I am the best, I can do everything. And this, remember guys, this confidence is the key. Like if I am attempting UPSC right now, then I have the same knowledge if I am attempting UPSC after 2-3 months. But what makes the difference? The difference is in the confidence. I have the after 2-3 months, I will have the confidence. The knowledge level remains the same for everyone, but the confidence changes. And with this confidence, your ability to attempt the questions, your ability to take calculated risk. I'm using the word calculated risk. That changes. So your guessing ability also changes. So all these things taking into consideration, we have a better result. So suppose you have 125 questions in CAPF. So and answers you know for sure that 40 questions, 50 questions, I know perfect answers. So I cannot be wrong here. But for later 75 questions, you need to do a lot of guesswork. So this confidence, these guessing abilities help there. So these later 75 questions, you get maximum benefit out of your confidence. So this I told about how to prepare for Spectrum, and this applies for all other books also. So you just have to close your eyes. You just have to remember what is in the index, and okay, then this thing. Okay, Gadar. Then what happened in Gadar? These 4 points happened. Okay, I am not able to remember this 1 point. What is it? Let us see. So like that, you have to revise. Okay, moving on to geography. Guys, here for geography, India and world physical geography key NCERT are very important. So when I remember, there was, I think 2015 or 16, 3 questions from geography were from only one topic in world physical NCERT. So now you understand what is the importance of this NCERT. Thoroughly you have to read these NCERTs. Then GC Long is also kind of important. You can skip it based on whatever you are, what time you have. So that I will leave up to you. Then important book in geography is Periyar book. So this is, I think many of you may not be knowing, many of you might be knowing. This Periyar book is this is white book, and this book is a gist of NCERTs, plus there are some information which are very geography optional specific. They have used some jargonistic terms, but in CAPF particularly, these geographic jargon terms are being asked. So if you have to score like 10 marks extra, like 3-4 questions in this geography, they are very geography optional based questions. So if you want to score like a few marks extra, you can go and read this Periyar, and it will also act as a revision point for you for this for your earlier NCERT that you have read. So Periyar book I would suggest. The third point is science and technology. So what has happened here, UPSC and CAPF, civil services and CAPF both are having different approaches. So what is happening is, till 2014, UPSC was asking questions from NCERTs, science and tech NCERTs, very static questions. But after 2015, like UPSC has completely changed its approach. UPSC is only asking questions, those are in current affairs, current news. So the questions, even if biotechnology questions, they are like very current based question, not what is the sale, what is everything. So these questions are not being asked very frequently, but in CAPF these questions are being asked. So I will suggest you to read these 6th to 9th or 10th NCERTs for science and tech, but you do not have to take a lot of load here. You have to like prioritize what you want to do here. Then only otherwise what will happen ki you will go and reading science and tech and you will miss all other these important topics, history, geography, So you have to allot minimal time to science and tech, like 15% of your time, 10% of your time you have to allocate to science and tech. Then very important book comes for polity is Lakshmikant. Lakshmikant is the Bible for all of us, and you will face like 15 to 20 questions in this CET exam and also in our civil services examination from Lakshmikant. So Lakshmikant you have to read thoroughly. Again, Lakshmikant you have to apply the same approach that you applied for modern history. You have to like close your eyes and you have to remember ki what all provisions are there, what exceptions are there. So let us take say, Article 371A chapter, say 371 chapter, special provisions. So you have to like you have to make a mnemonym for it. Okay, 71A is Maharashtra. B, what is it? So you have to make a mnemonym for it. Then ki what special statuses are given. You have to like understand so that what happens is your revision time is reduced. Plus, you you know that okay, you remember everything. You have a confidence. So please, guys, follow this approach. Then later we have environment. Environment again, Shankar IS is the best source that we have for environment. Again, here a bit static concepts will be asked, plus current affairs concepts will also be asked. So both the questions we have to deal with it. Specifically in UPSC Civil Services, most of the time current affairs based questions are asked, not the static questions. What is ecology? What is this alpha beta species thing? And these questions are not being asked nowadays. So again, make a distinction here. Later move on to economy. In economy, you have to thoroughly read macroeconomics NCERT. This is very important NCERT. Why? Because it makes a base of your economy preparation. If you make your concepts very clear, then I think you need not read any reference book also. So only so you need to know ki, the relation between inflation and the exports. You need to understand ki what is current account deficit. You need to understand specifically what is fiscal deficit, what is how it is related with everything in the economy, interest rate. So all these things you have to the interrelation you have to understand. This book is very helpful for that. And to supplement this, you can read any of the reference book that you have, like Ramesh Singh is there, Sri Rama is there, even Mrunal.org video lectures are there, or even whatever lectures Sachin sir is providing on these capsules, small capsule they are providing. These are very good capsule that I found. So economy you can do these things. Then important aspect is current affairs. So current affairs again, VNIS is our source of current affairs. You have to do it, but emphasis should be on a few important points. These points are the defense cooperation that we have with other countries, the military exercises that we have with other countries. These exercises have to be you have to remember these exercises because CAPF, as in you are dealing with the security of the country. So they expect you to know about security of the what is happening in the security arena of the country. So be prepared for these exercises, defense technologies, defense equipment that we are buying from other countries. So security and defense you have to, and also space. So you have to keep an eye on these things. These are very important. Other things like okay, you have to do other current affair things, but these are of prime importance because you are applying for Central Armed Police Forces. And in addition to this, if you guys want to score some extra points, then you can also go for GK Today Current Affairs. But GK Today Current Affairs is very bulky. So you need not read all of them. What you need to do is you just need to take index of it. The index only comprises of 10 pages. So you only take index and only read the index. And if you find key, okay, this point was missing from my earlier notes, then only you read that point into the this main booklet. You need not go because this GK Today also contains a lot of material for banking related services. You need not exams. You need not read that part. You just need read the index and what is important in terms of ecology and environment, science and technology, and defense related things. That's it. You have to do only these things. And also one important point is in India yearbook, again, you do not have to read the whole India yearbook. you only read the defense chapter in India yearbook, because a lot of times the questions have been asked about the defense PSUs, and this chapter only is of, I think, not more than 15 or 20 pages. So you don't read the whole India yearbook, only 15 to 20 pages of those defense related chapter. You have to you have to prepare for this. Even for, I would suggest, civil services examination, India yearbook nowadays is not carrying a lot of weightage. Earlier it used to have a weightage, but nowadays it is not having this much weightage. I think so. I have given up the basic list of the book list, and this is a very exhaustive book list, and if you do this thoroughly, I'm very confident that all of you will score more than 150 marks in paper 1. And the second part here is of the CSAT questions. So for CSAT questions, again, what is happening right now is, see, if you guys have seen the current civil services examination, so many of my friends unfortunately flunked in CSAT paper, and most of them are engineers from reputed colleges across the country, even IITs. So nowadays CSAT is not a paper that we have to take for granted. So you have to prepare for CSAT also. So CSAT in CAPF comprises, I think, 15 to 20 questions. So these 15 questions you have to score, because these are factual questions, and these are binary marking. So if you get it, you will get it easily and with full marks, and you know it. Okay, I have got it. So you are very confident about it. So prepare for CSAT also, and this will help you in civil services exam also. So prepare for CSAT and try to practice it. Okay, so CSAT is also very important to score the good marks. This is all about the preparation thing, what book list and everything. Now I will quickly shift to the second topic, that is how to attempt question paper here in CAPA. This topic is very important, because see guys, you study everything under the sun, but what happens is these 2 hours are very important. You have to focus on these 2 hours. Then only if you perform better in these 2 hours, then only you can score good marks. Otherwise, the whole preparation goes to a toss. So what you have to do in these 2 hours, and what you have to practice so that you do perform better in these 2 hours. The first thing is, here we have 125 questions. We do not have 100 questions. So again, and the time limit is the same. So what you have to do is the round system that we used to follow in UPSC. Now here, because we have 25 questions plus these 125 questions contain CSAT questions. So it is very difficult to follow the round system. When I gave CAPF exam in 2015 also. That time this was my first attempt in civil services also and CAPF also, and I could not clear this exam. The main point I remember is because I thought I will follow the round system. I started doing that, but later at the end of the after 1.5 hours, I realized I cannot do this. I have to make decision here and itself. Otherwise, a lot of questions were not being answered. I was keeping those for the end, and what happened in the end, I got panicked. In a hurry, I marked wrong answers in the OMR sheet, and there's a lot of mess. So what I would suggest you guys is please do not follow the round system here. You have to make, this is a difficult choice. You have to make the choice there itself. What tricks you can follow while doing this is, you go for first 25 questions. Solve the first 25 questions in one go, and find out which questions. There are few questions for which you know the perfect answer. So for first 25 questions, 10 questions you know the perfect answer. Mark them, not an issue. For later 15 questions, you might know that okay, these 2 options are not at all right. So strike down those options. So now you have 50-50 chance. You have only 2 options to choose from. So 50-50 chance, you need to select there and there itself. You need to trust on your guts, you need to trust on your instincts, and you have to mark them. So it is possible. You may not attempt all the 25 questions. You may attempt around 21 or 22 questions of those 25. That is very good. Now you are done with this 25. So you need not look at it. So you can divide the time accordingly, like giving 20 minutes to each 25 questions. So you can divide 20 to 25 minutes per 25 questions. This way you can divide the time. Then again for next 25, next 25, you can do like that. But you remember, you cannot follow the round system. Second round, there is no way, there is no time for second round, and you will like mess up things like big. So your preparation does not. So while you are practicing the question paper at your home, you need to remember this key, follow this type of round system. Okay, the second important point here comes is whether to solve the CSAT, all the CSAT questions separately, or while you are attempting the exam. So why this is important? Because what happens is, I've seen guys getting emotional with CSAT questions. People think, okay, I'm an engineer and I must be able to solve this question, and they end up spending like 3-4 minutes only on one question. This is not at all advisable, because that question only carries only 2 mark, 2.5 mark, whatever it is, 2 marks. So this is not advisable that you end up spending 3-4. It's okay. Your ego is not important here. The marks are important. Be Marxist. So particularly have to be Marxist here. So remember this thing. So whenever you encounter a CSAT question, you have to remember, okay, I will solve this question not more than 1 minute. If you, after reading the question, you think, it will take more than 1 minute, then uh, mark that question, and you have to leave this question to later, last 10 minutes only. So keep last 10 minutes open for those questions of CSAT which you could not answer. Uh, so if you are spending more than 1 minute, then you are taking up the time for other questions. And remember, these questions might be very easy than these CSAT, difficult CSAT question. So a bit digressing from the topic, what I think is, most of my friends who unfortunately could not clear CSAT paper, what problem they faced is uh, they did not quickly move to next question. So what happened, that they stuck down to a particular question, and there were a lot of easy questions in the later half. So they could not reach to that questions, or when they reached that question, the time was so low that they panicked and they made a mistake. So please do not do this, even in CSAT of the civil services. So, and here also, so don't get emotional with the CSAT. Just whenever you encounter CSAT question, just like okay, 1 minute, can I solve it? No, move on. So this should be your approach. So like this, I think you should attempt at least 100 questions, and not more than 110 or 112 questions. So this should be your optimum, because we know, like, there are questions which no one will be able to answer, and you did not take unnecessary risk here, because we have a negative marking. So not more than 100 and 112 questions you have to answer. You limit yourself to that, but not less than 100 also. So 100, I think, not less than 105, 100 105. So maintain this balance quite. You have to maintain this balance. Guys, this is all about the question paper, first paper of this exam. Now I will quickly move on to the paper second of the exam. So paper second comprises of essays, then it comprises of few precise writing, then a few grammar points also, English grammar and all these things. So what happened is, people think that writing essay here means what kind of essay that we write in UPSC exam. No, guys, this is not the case. So in UPSC you have 1,200 words to write an essay, and 1.5 hours to write one essay. So this is not the case here. Here, what you have to do, this is another name for a 20-mark answer. So this is a 20 marker answer that you have to remember. Only that in 20 mark answer you have 250 words. Here you have to write it in 300 words. And you should not go to 300. You restrict yourself to 270, 280 words. Then only you can complete the whole paper. Otherwise, you won't be able to complete the whole paper. So it is it is like clock. Essay name is a clock. You need not fall in this trap. You just focus. Okay, no. First paragraph, second paragraph, third paragraph. Only difference you have to make is you don't write answer in point-wise format. Answer in paragraph-wise format. So that it's just key. Okay, the question is key, the contribution of Sardar Patel in Indian national movement. So you write in points. So you write in paragraphs. Initial paragraph introduction. What is Sardar Patel? So Sardar Patel is the Iron Man of India. He these things. Okay. So he unity of India and all. So you write introduction, then quickly move on to the chronological way. So Sardar Patel, what he did in the this this all the satyagrahas that Gandhiji participated. Then this I am not able to remember the exact name right now, which satyagrahas. So what satyagrahas he participated, who gave him the title of Sardar?
Bardoli.
Okay. Bardoli, who gave him the title of these women gave him the title of Sardar Patel. So you have to write all these points. Then later on, what contribution he did in the integration of India, and later on in the end, what you can write is current affairs. His birthday is celebrated as National Unity Day across the country. Prime Minister has inaugurated the tallest statue in the country, which is the hallmark of unity of the nation, and there is unity. And so this adds an essay point. Okay, so this point is an essay point. You can write this in civil services exam also. So okay, you have to frame the answer in such a format. Okay, you got my point. So essay writing is another name for question answers that are asked in UPSC. So then we quickly move on to the report writing thing. So report writing is also, people think that how to write a report. So just think, suppose you are already an officer in the CAPF, okay, and there is something has happened in your unit, in your company, and your senior is asking you to give him a report. You have to give a report to your senior. So think in that terms. So what you have to write is you have to write few factual points. When you're writing a report, initially write what few factual point about the happening. Suppose let us take Abraham Accord that has been signed, or what we can say, another example could be Abraham Accord that has been signed between US and UAE वगैरह. So that this can be one important thing. So what you have to tell what is the Abraham Accord? Then you go for okay, this is the Abraham Accord. What was his objective, and what has happened? What will be its implication for India? Again, but same thing you have to write, but in different format, and how India should be prepared. And you have to there has to be a particular group you have to be concerned about, and this group is Indian government. So what if there is a disaster? Suppose there is a cyclone. Now the cyclone has two cyclones appeared at the same time in Chennai. So you have to write a report about it. So what you suppose you are now you have to think you are NDRF. Your battalion is NDRF battalion. You are heading the NDRF battalion. So what will be your approach to this? So think and then write how you prepared, how this CAPF prepared, and how government of India is very prepared to tackle this. Now you have to use your disaster management knowledge here. How early warning systems were established, how communication was reached, and so this report is very comprehensive report. You have to in very short. So remember, brevity is the wit here. You have to very brief here. Do not waste your words, waste your time on unnecessary sentences. You have to stick with what factual things have happened and what are the implications, what are the lessons for the future to end the report with. So, and for any you have any doubt, you read a report on the particular topic in Hindu or Express, how they write a report. This is writing a news story itself. So you can take help of any, suppose cyclone has appeared here, and how Hindu has reported it, how Express has reported it. Just take an example, and you will see, understand what it is. Again, precise writing and this precise writing and grammar. So grammar, I won't suggest you guys to go and read something Renin Martin and anything. If you know it, you know it. If you don't know it, do not waste your time in preparation for this. Your time is limited. So do not waste your time here, but attempt grammar questions. There is no negative marking here. Attempt the questions. In precise writing also, do not waste much time. What happens is people do not try to make a gist of it. What you have to do is read the whole paragraph of the precise, and for each paragraph, whatever you feel, write in. Suppose the paragraph is of 5 lines, write in 2 lines what actually that paragraph means. Again for next paragraph, next paragraph. So this way you will save your time. If you go and okay, what is written here, then you start noting down. So that will waste your time. So you need not waste your time, and time is also very important here. Again, most of the time it happens that people leave the a lot of questions here. So you need not leave the questions. Time is important. So I think, guys, I have covered a lot of things here for the day of your written examination. Remember, your target should be 150 plus marks in paper 1. So if you score 150 plus marks in paper 1, I think paper 2 there is not a huge difference in the marks of people. So few people may get 95, 98. Few people minimum marks, if you are very well prepared, few people will get not less than 80 marks if you are very well prepared. So there is a this range is of 50 to 20, 15 to 20 marks range. So uh, of course you have to make all the efforts to reach the top of the ranking here, and 95 plus marks you have to take. But you have to focus more on the objective part rather than subjective part here. Okay, and remember to complete the paper on time. These things. So there are next 2 stages: the physical test and interview test. I will not spend much time, but I will briefly go through it, how to do it. What has happened is there are two types of candidates. Few candidates who have not been very involved in outdoor activities. So and few candidates who are regularly involved in outdoor activities. So so what happens is those candidates who have been not very good in outdoor activities, though they try to exhaust themselves during the training. So you need not do that. What you need to do is when and after the your examination day, the written paper examination day is over, and you know that now, okay, I can clear it. I will be able to clear it. So then immediately start running for half an 20 minutes, half an hour every day. That is more than enough. Start running 20 minutes to half an hour every day. This will create your stamina, maintain your stamina, and then only you can do it. So uh, and the other group who have who are doing their outdoor activities, they did not do anything. They are doing outdoor activities. They play badminton, go to any sports that you play. So that does not matter, but you need to have a confidence in your stamina. Here I would like to give some 2 3 anecdotes that I have faced. I have seen. First is what happened during the physical test that I was giving. Many people exhausted themselves. They started doing long jumps. You have to practice for that, but you do not have to exhaust yourself. But what happened is during the preparation of this physical test, they injured themselves. So one person injured while going for long jump. One person injured while he was running. So what happened? They came for the exam, but one guy had while giving a physical test, he fractured his leg because it was already injured. So I would strongly suggest you not to do these things. Please don't do these things. Just follow normal routine. The second example I want to tell you of myself. So when I was active in sports in college also. So that was not a very big thing for me. So before the exam, physical exam was in October, I think 9 or 10, and I was diagnosed with uh, this dengue. I was diagnosed with dengue on, I think, 1st of September. So my whole first 15 to 20 days of September I lost in dengue, and after that those 15 days I was like in a recovery phase. But I was not confident enough ki, okay, will I be able to clear this physical test on 9th of October? That was very big task for me. But because I had done my plenty of sports activities in college days, those activities helped me and I could clear it. So my suggestion to you guys is keep having some sort of physical activities every day. It helps you sometime here and there. You do not realize it, but it helps you. So this example I have to give, and then later on for the interview is also very important to why, because it decides your ranks. If you have scored very well in mains, written examination, then only the thing important is what rank you will get. You are definitely going to get the rank, what rank you get. So in interview, I would suggest 3-4 important points quickly. I won't take very much time. Uh, first important point is ki these the interview panel, they see whether are you eager to join the service. A lot of candidates go and they just write the exam and they just go, okay, I will decide later whether I want to join it or not. So, but please don't show such kind of attitude. Show a very sincere attitude that you will join the service. You are eager to join the service. And how will you show this attitude? You can only show this attitude by knowing few things. That is the background of all the services that you are applying for. You need to know the history. You need to know what kind of structure is there. There are a lot of documentaries available on YouTube. Few documentaries are given by Rajya Sabha. Few documentaries are Discovery Channel documentaries. So you go and watch those documentaries before you go for interview and understand what their function is. Uh, the most important function this CAPF do is apart from the security aspect. So see what all we are doing. We all civil services officers. We all CAPF officers. We all are doing two important things only. One is development. The other is security. So few people are involved. Few officers are involved in security aspect, and few officers are involved in development aspects. So few officers like IS, they are since they are the district magistrate, they are also involved in security of the district also. So they have both the roles. So CAPF has 80, 70 to 75% role in security, and you have to understand they have 20 to 25% role in development scenario also. So if you go for Sashastra Sima Bal has a civic action plan. Every CAPF has a civic action plan. So what they do is they provide veterinary services to the people living in the border areas. They provide health services. They provide few education services. So like you have a mandate there also to provide development activities also. So you have to, whenever you are writing in okay, why panel asks you, okay, why do you want to join it, sir? The security is important aspect, plus apart from this these services also perform some development aspects here. Suppose you are in a Chhattisgarh, in a tribal area, and there you have a civic budget under civic action plan. So what will you do? You will do some school activities. You will take some gaming like volleyball matches, cricket matches of the tribals, football matches, or their traditional sports activities you can take up, and you can have a matches, so that these youth are not radicalized, they are not exposed to the extremist ideology, and the energy is channelized to a particular level. So you have to remember these aspects also whenever you are writing. This will show your seriousness, that okay, you know everything in the services, and like at least you have a rough knowledge, you know what you have to do. So please whenever you are going for interview, read these things, basic things about services. And you did not go for, okay, what is a gun, okay, what all different types of guns. Or you have a passion for these things and you know it, it's very good. But since you are going, they will not ask you, okay, what is this bomb, what is this gun. Okay, they will ask general, okay, we are purchasing Rafale from USA, so what is your opinion about Rafale? why we are having Rafale, what was the controversy. These they will ask, not okay. Lot of aspirants they go for very specific things. So don't do this. Second thing is your intellect. See, you are coming from UPSC and you have to command a force of few people and their life depends on you. So intellect is very important. So intellect, how will you show? The basic thing. What graduation you have done? You are engineer, you are BA, you have done arts, you have done any commerce, whatever you have done. So you need to have a good understanding, not very thorough understanding, but good understanding of it. So you need to show the managerial skills. How managerial skills are shown? That there are 3 to 4 M's of managerial skills. One is man, material, machine, and money. These 4 things you have to manage. So men and women also, because we have women also in the services. Men, women, material, machine, and money. 4 things you have to manage. So how will you manage these things? Whenever you are answering any particular situation related question in given by the board, you have to focus on these 4 things, and with these 4 things how will you achieve maximum efficiency without having any casualty, without any injury to your team. So one of the aspirant, when he went to the interview, after he came back, he called me and told me he was asked a question, case study you are a group of 5 people and you are going for trekking, and one of your friend got injured and he is severely injured. So what will you do? So in this, what you have to do is you have 5 to 6 people. So the basic thing you go for any trekking is you as a team leader you should have first aid kits. First aid kit is the basic. So you should not ask the board, sir, do I have a first aid kit? No, that you have it. You should have it. Since you are managing it, so you have a first aid kit. So you need to understand okay, where I'm going for trekking. So did I search for where are the local population situated? Can I quickly rush to them? Can I is there any medical facility there? So how will I go? So is there a road, or I have to go from jungles only? So so these are very small aspect. You need not think very like strategic terms. You need to like think in normal circumstances. What, as a person, as a leader of a small group, what will you do? And then you have to tell the board, sir, after we do all these things, if my friend is capable, we will tell him to stay in the village only, and we will complete the trek. That means we will complete the mission. Mission should not be compromised. We will complete the mission. So end with a positive note, anything. So all these things, and another important thing is I want to add whenever you are going for interview board, add a humor to your interview. So what happened is sir asked me Sarang, what your friends, since he asked me what your friends call you. So I told him, sir, my friends call me Ranga. So all the panel boards started laughing. So one of my friend, he went to interview, and the panel asking what is the thing that you like the most? So he said, sir, I like eating chicken a lot. So instead of you giving very high answers, sir, I like to serve my country, I like to help people, I like to do social service activities. Okay, these activities you like, but you have already included those in your draft. So add a humor to your this interview, so the board also feels relaxed. They are also tired of taking a lot of interviews. So take these things in your mind. And then I think with all this, you will definitely secure a very good rank, like in the top 20s, I guess, for top 30s. So I think I have covered all the important aspect of this exam, how to plan it, how to do it. And remember, guys, CAPF is very coming up as a very uh, important part of the whole bureaucracy, whole institution of the government. So uh, don't take CAPF as a this can be your plan B, and your plan A can be whatever civil services. But this is very good service. A lot of my friends are in CAPF and they are performing very good. I would like to like give one example. Latest in last few days, one of our Cobra Commando, he was assistant commandant. He lost his life. The point is not to scare you guys. The point is to tell you what supreme sacrifices these CAPF officers and Jawans are doing in their field. One of my batchmate, like not batchmate, I guess, but I cleared in 2016. So the same year, one of my friend also cleared, and he is in CRPF. He was rank 9 that time, and he is in CRPF, and he is working in Sukma, and he is working very good. He sends me whatever he does every week. He sends me the details. He tells me what all situations are there, and he's very passionate about it. So, guys, your work, if you join CAPF, your work is very important, and please don't take this very lightly. Okay, I will decide if I want to join it afterwards. If you don't want at all to join it, please, like, you have other options also here. So focus. You can take this as a experience kind of a thing, but I would suggest you guys to consider this as a good career opportunity also. That you this will give you growth in your individual sense also, and in your professional sense also. And nowadays CAPF is getting organized service status, and they will also have lot of other facilities that are being provided to the civil services. So I think overall the future is bright for CAPF also, and you, I think you guys need to take this seriously seriously when you are preparing for the exam and applying for the exam. This is all from my side, I think, and all the very best to all the guys who are going to prepare for it.
Thank you so much, Sarang sir. I really like the way you explain everything from the beginning. Like you started the resources and you explain all the resources in very much detail. After that, you also explained the how to approach the paper and how you should behave on the day of exam. That is really important. Like that, you can only a senior who has cleared with such a good rank can explain you in detail. And you have rightly touched many points like where there also. After that, you also shared your experience throughout the journey, like how you used to prepare and what you observed with the other aspirants. That was also a very good point, I think. Like because if someone is sharing only his experience or her experience, that is not sufficient. Like if you are telling also others what others did and what they could not, so that is also, I guess, the important part of today's talk, what I really found interesting. And the last part also, like what you told about the interview preparation and the experience you had, the element of humor, that is very important, because generally we tend to make it very serious affair generally in a interview basically. So the point where what you added, like humor point, is very interesting. Definitely it will help our viewers. And yes, I think with this we can call it a day. If someone has any question, they can ask. I request Sarang you to stay back so that we can have a post session picture. If someone from the someone from who is attending can ask the question if they want to. Otherwise, we can call it a day. Okay, I guess you have explained it very well. There are no questions, but if someone asks in the group, definitely I'll convey it to you. Or someone is commenting
Yes,
on the
thank you.
video, I will definitely ask you to reply to that question. So thank you so much
Thank
everyone
you.
for attending this session.
Thank you all. Thank you, Sachin, sir, for this great opportunity to interact with the future officers. I really like to stay in touch with all these people who have doubts, and if I can make their journey easier, then it will be my pleasure. So thank you all. Thank you all for listening to all this. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.